welcome back to Anti-King. This is part 2 of the Sasquatch series. If you haven't seen part 1, what are you doing here? Go watch that one. So far, not a whole lot's happened. This one guy heard about like 3 weed farmers. He thinks this probably didn't happen. Heard about 3 weed farmers getting murdered by a Sasquatch in the early 90s. So he's just been kind of calling people and seeing if that rings any bells. And then we left off, they were about to talk to the guy that got, I forget his name. He's Big Dick Nick of the Bigfoot community. There's a lot of words. So yeah, we're going to watch that now. All right, so one part that I left out in the intro about where we're at in this first episode is, you know the footage of Bigfoot that everyone... When I say footage of Bigfoot, what do you picture? I'll go ahead and I'll put it up.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man.
Basically, they've gotten to the point... I can't remember exactly how they set it up, but they're about to talk to the dude that actually filmed that, Bob Gimlin. So this is like Sasquatch King shit. This guy is like a star at Sasquatch conventions. This guy gets all the Squatch watchers pussy. I don't know.
Oh, hey, that is perfect. Thank you so much.
Humble. I like
People have said there's no such thing, no such creature can exist. So we decided to see if we could find more evidence. We rode every day, miles and miles and miles, about 35, 40 miles a day, making big circles around and through the mountains. The 20th day, it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun was still up, nice. We was riding up the creek bed. And
the creek bed.
All at once, one was standing across the creek, looking straight at us. Roger got his camera out. You see her make that famous turn like that to look at me when I got off the horse. When I saw her, I thought, oh my God, these things really do exist.
You ever heard of a Sasquatch attacking or killing people?
No, not at all. I've heard of stories of where they've protected people.
They're trying so hard to get that to stick.
But
I'm fucking
never
here
any
for it.
Stories of people being killed by them.
George, over there.
No.
No, this chair. Oh, I'm sorry.
Got a couple Squatch watchers.
That's what you said for the chair. That was the other way.
Where do we differ on what Sasquatch is?
Well, you believe that Sasquatch can teleport. And
No.
Yes, you do.
No, I
Yes,
do
you
not.
You do.
Do not go there.
And you believe that
No.
he can cloak and all that other fucking bullshit.
No, I do not.
Yes, you do.
goddammit.
We've
The
talked
only
about
thing,
this before.
and you get it wrong.
No,
the
I
only
think
thing
that
I believe
he's just a being. He's a blood and guts human being kind of creature.
It's pretty unlikely, but the idea of there being like a species we just haven't discovered is a lot more likely than it being some like mythical cryptid.
Noise is following me, and I know that it wasn't a kitty cat.
my first
I
encounters
know a kitty
were when I was 10, what I saw out the window at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, those eyes. And I remember screaming.
I was camping, and around, I would say 2 o'clock in the morning or so, I hear noises, and then I see my tent being squished down. And then I start screaming and screaming and screaming, and then I just hit the tent. And this thing just like jumped up, and you can hear it moving backwards and just running off.
Since I'm often asked, by people, including journalists, is, so you believe in Bigfoot? And I say, no, I don't believe in Bigfoot. And let that stew for just a moment until they're uncomfortable, and then explain. When I'm asked that question, usually from a skeptical point of view, it usually connotes a position of faith. Have I accepted something in the absence of evidence? And no, I'm convinced that Sasquatch exists. It's the evidence that convinces me. The most compelling evidence for the existence of Sasquatch.
There's something really hopeful about that question mark. Just like, Sasquatch? I don't know, maybe.
From my point of expertise is the footprint evidence. I've spent a lot of time assembling a very large sample of footprints from all over North America. When we consider the odds that all these tracks are simply spurious hoaxes, it becomes incredible. How is it that these hoaxers have incorporated things that have only come to light and been understood in the realm of science and anthropology in the past, few decades? If I were to estimate the number of Sasquatch here in Idaho, I would come up with a figure that, even if I was liberal, about maybe 300.
Hearing that a Bigfoot killed someone, it seemed pretty believable, I'm sure there's people that disappear that it's because of a Squatch. My one buddy down in southern Humboldt, he had the thing throw like a big chunk of log out of
There's
his overhead, just whoosh.
I've been watching a lot of South Park lately because I'm doing a South Park ranking video. There's this episode where Cartman ends up with a bunch of like Bigfoot hunters and shit. And it's so weird how much those people look like these people. So when you think of the cast of characters we've just met, is it not just uncanny? Like, none of them look specifically like any of the people in the show, but the vibe's just there. What's going on here?
They could lift 50-gallon barrels of oil and throw it like it's a toy.
So they're so strong, they
Is this man just thinking of Donkey Kong? That's Donkey Kong.
could tear a body apart.
Oh, easily.
Oh yeah, theoretically, easily. For sure.
Hey man, how are you?
Good.
Okay, so this guy.
Some people and
This is all that first part of the episode was. It was just this guy who overheard a conversation in the early 90s about a Sasquatch killing a bunch of people at a grow. Or not a bunch, 3 people. I guess that's a bunch of people. In context of murder. But anyways, he just randomly decided to investigate now. And decided to start calling places and just asking them about it. And the results have been hilarious so far.
I was just picking their brains about, you mentioned the Sasquatch and all that. And I have a lead to talk to people.
Really? What did you hear?
I have a close friend of mine that for the last 30 years, that's what he did for a living, to grow pine. Wanted to pick his brain. Hey, did you ever hear anything about that? He goes, yeah, I have. Then I said, okay, well, I'd talk to you.
If your friend was willing to talk to us or pass information through you, either one, we'd be, we're all ears, man.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll do everything I can and, keep you apprised of what I got going on.
All right, man.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, I didn't get anywhere today, but one thing that I did notice today that I've noticed before, just in knocking around up here, talking to people that are anybody associated with the cannabis sort of cultivation scene up here, then or now, is that there's a current of belief in supernatural forces that runs deeper up here than I think in most places.
Is your confidence that these murders actually occurred?
I keep coming back to what I know, okay? What I know is what I heard in October 1993.
I think this dude's
cabin.
just got a camera crew,
And I heard
a whole film crew like following him now, and it's just like now it's too late to just be like I made that up. So he's just kind of like, no, I'll call more. I can call more people.
a guy that was like fucking terrified, traumatized. I am convinced that he was convinced that he had seen 3 bodies on a pot farm that were mutilated, mangled, torn to pieces, and he believed that a Sasquatch had done it. I would go on in my career to be in situations where...
The steps you got to take for this to count as evidence. First, you have to believe that the guy who stumbled across upon the bodies was telling the truth, which so far there's no... You'd think there'd be more evidence of 3 murders in the middle of California, and it's not like this was in the 30s where this stuff just kind of happened and shit just went away. This was in like 1993. Like this wasn't... I was alive then. This wasn't that long ago. It's just first you have to accept that that dude's telling the truth, that all of that really happened, and then you have to accept that not only did he see that, but he was somehow able to determine that that was a Sasquatch and not just a regular murder. And then you have to take into account that he's hearing about someone who saw something that may not have happened and then took a guess as to how it may have happened if it did actually happen 30 years ago. This is flimsy, dumb, and I fucking love it.
Things got violent, or things had just been violent, and always the temperature in the room sort of shifts. And these guys came into the place, and the temperature changed, and you could actually feel it in the room. So it was obvious that they were coming directly from having seen this scene of the murder. And I know that there were all these stories about aggressive Sasquatches at the time because I heard them. You know, that's what I know.
Got the blick.
But I haven't found anybody else who's heard the story about 3 dudes getting killed on a dope farm in 1993. I mean, fuck. This is all grabbing at smoke right now still. You know, it's still all just grabbing at smoke.
93 specifically. I just remember a story that there was farm workers, possibly Mexican nationals, and the Sasquatch got them. Their camp was found with, the bodies torn apart everywhere.
Without missing a beat, he goes, 3 Mexican dudes in Mendo, fall of 93. Boom. No. Okay, tell me more.
That story stood out because at least 4 different times I heard some reference to it. I do recall a story kind of centered around the Spy Rock area.
He says, oh yeah, I remember hearing that story in bars a lot. These 3 Mexican guys had gotten killed by a Bigfoot at a farm on Spy Rock Road. He said on Spy Rock Road. So, that's a lead. That's a lead. What's the Spy Rock area?
How the fuck has someone else heard this story?
Spy Rock is near the Mendocino-Humboldt border. Pretty rugged terrain, kind of prime area to go into and find a spot and grow a crop.
I was up in Spy Rock. I lived up in Spy Rock for some time. There's a stone on the way up to Spy Rock, and it's one of the oldest engraved petroglyphs in the whole United States. So it has a whole mysticism to Spy Rock. It is inland enough and raises high enough above the cloud line and the fog line that if you get up the mountain a certain height, you don't deal with rot in the plants. In Sonoma County, everything rots. The plants on Spy Rock are far bigger than any plants in Sonoma or Mendocino County. When you start getting thousands of feet up those mountains, you get into pretty rugged and hard terrain. And I wouldn't suggest anybody go wandering up there looking around because it's not that kind of place. They don't want outsiders up there.
Is that about how you like it?
So the 1993 season, you heard a crazy fucking Bigfoot story. Tell me that story.
You know, I'll say this, that time period was like, there was a lot going on. Every time I stopped for a second to take a breath and socialize for a minute with some people, I would hear stories. But this one story stood out just because I had never heard anyone like say it, you know, with such conviction. It was like a serious call to arms. This is the biggest threat we're going to be facing towards the end of this season. So we're going to get attacked by Sasquatches, as if the stuff we were up against already wasn't enough.
Just got a kind of a sketched out and unsettling text message from the former Mendocino County cop turned private investigator I've been working with the last couple of weeks.
What the fuck? That dude is not... That man did not get into private investigating for the money. He got into it for the showmanship, and he's killing it. Congratulations. Okay, bye. Last day with teeth. Gang, gang. Gang, gang. Here's this one, too. Alright, y'all get out of here. Get out of here.